Hello, today we will go over the Magnus-Carlsen game versus Vladislav, round 4, in which Carlsen pulled off a miracle. I call him the Houdini. Carlsen pulled off a Houdini in this game. Let's go over this game. It's a Sicilian Moscow variation. E4, C5, knight F3, D6, bishop B5 check, bishop blocks, bishop takes, queen takes. C4, E5, knight C3, knight C6, D3. Standard moves. Bishop E7, A3, and then bishop D8. All right. White castles. Bishop goes to D8 to make room for knight G to E7. We have knight G E7, then B4. Black doesn't have time to take on B4. So black just keeps developing, castles, then B takes C5, and D takes. White has a slight advantage. Then knight to D5. Good square for the knight on D5. Knight G6, making way for the D8 bishop. Says black has an active position. I agree. Bishop E3. Bishop E3 attacking C5. B6 to defend. Then knight D2. Let's see. What else could be played in this position? Maybe computer suggests rook A2, bishop E7, or A4 here. A4 is probably the better move. But knight D2. Then comes F5, which is a good move, reasonable move. E takes, queen takes, knight to E4, centralizing the knight. So far, we are even. Again, in this game, Carlsen pulled off a Houdini. He was definitely lost. Knight E4, knight F4. Interesting looking counter move. Computer says queen D7 and we're all even. Knight F4 is a bit ambitious, but I like it. It's okay. Knight F4. Looks menacing. G3, attacking the knight. Queen G6, pinning the pawn. So let's see. Yep, computer suggests queen G6. King gets out of the way of the pin. And then knight takes D5. E takes D5. Knight E7 attacking D5. So white says, well, if you're attacking my D5, I'm just going to push the pawn. D6. Knight to F5 attacking the pawn. But the queen goes to B3 check. And then a D5 protecting the pawn. And also hitting the A8 rook. Bishop moves to defend the rook. And rook A to E1. Protecting the to take back the knight with the rook. If knight takes bishop, rook takes knight on E3. So, see, knight takes F6 fails because of G takes. So instead of rook A to E8, computer says knight takes is not good because G takes. And if you play D7, rook A to D8, that pawn is weak. Also, see, let's go back here. Well, yeah, also you don't want to lose this knight, which is protecting D6 also. You know, you want to keep protection. Rook A on that pawn. Rook A D8, F4. That is a brilliant move. Computer even suggests F4. F4. Computer suggests take. Let's see. F4. No. Queen F7. trying to exchange queens. But if e takes, rook takes, attacking the knight, bishop moves, attacking the rook and defending the knight because it's moved out of the way of the f8 rook. The knight is now defended. Now what if we have knight takes, queen takes. And white is on top in this position. So e takes, if he takes the pawn, that still leaves white with the advantage. So either way, I mean, after f4, that's pretty good move. So instead of, let's see, oh, well, white has a good advantage here anyway. So, but black plays knight takes e3, which is worse than e takes. But e takes f4 was the better move. But yeah, black is slightly in trouble either way. So knight takes, rook takes e3, e takes f4, rook takes f4. Carlsen is now in a bit of trouble here. h6, a luft for the king, and then we advance the pawn, d7. Computer says black is virtually lost here. Could we take the knight? Let's see. I mean, the bishop, knight takes f6. Yeah, knight takes f6 is even better than d7. We played knight takes f6. So he missed h6. Yeah, he missed knight takes f6, which practically wins. Knight takes, if rook takes, then push the pawn. What do we have here? Are we threatening to take the rook and then rook the e8 check? King moves. Then rook takes, queen takes. And white has a decisive advantage. I mean, yeah. White can go here to avoid the check. But after... the immediate threat is... well, after check, though, we have king to h3. Then queen back. Then rook to e6. Can we go rook let's see. Can we go here? Oh, no, because, oh, queen f1. Check. We'll get a draw there. So he goes queen to f6, trying to hit f1. But rook to e6, why would that? Rook to e6, what's the difference? Now if queen here, king to h4. Oh, because the queen cannot go back to f6 here in the other variation. This one would continue with best play. Queen to f8, then queen check. Yeah, followed by, well, king to g8 and then rook here. And that would spell finis. Alright, but in this variation, let's see, king, rook to e6. Right, I was looking at, yeah, because if rook here, then queen here check, king to h4. Right, the f6 square is now available. Instead of rook to e, if rook e6, the f6 square is no longer available. This would be suicide. No, could go here. Yeah, that's not. Then queen to g6. Yeah, then he'll pick up. Then rook. Yeah, queen here. Then rook takes e8. So rook to e8 would not be good here. So instead of d7, knight takes practically wins on the spot. If g takes, G takes, then rook to E7. Yeah, you can't play rook F7. And that's just devastating position. Yeah. So instead of knight takes F6, D7. Bishop E7. Double rooks. Rook takes, rook takes. B5. Here is when white starts to slip a little. H4 was the better plan here. H4 threatening H5. Queen has very little options here. H7. For instance, then rook G8, then H5, then the queen could come over here. Yeah, to B6. Then the rook infiltrates here. So here, instead of knight takes C5, H4 was the better move. But knight takes C5, white still has a decisive advantage. Then we have bishop takes, queen takes, king to H7, queen D5, centralizing the queen. Queen takes B5 would have been the lesser of the two moves of queen D5. Queen takes, black could survive this if queen takes B5. After queen to E6, attacking the pawn. He would lose the pawn after queen E6, actually. And that would probably end up being a draw. So queen takes B5 was the weaker move. Queen of D5 was correct. He re-centralized the queen. Queen of G5 wanting to trade to ease the pressure. White says no. He checks. Queen E4 check. Queen G6. Queen D5. Queen back to G5. Here, rook to F5 was the better move. Rook to F5, and white would continue with his huge advantage. Engine says a rook to F5, that's the winning move too, here in this position. But white gives it all away by playing queen to D6. He missed 2 wins. Rook takes, knight takes F6, and queen and rook to F5. Queen of G6. He can see the light. Black can see the light now after queen D6. Queen C7 hitting the rook. Queen of G5 protecting. Queen back to D6. Black would be very happy to repeat. I think white was down on time probably at this point. Back up. 2-fold repetition. Then queen to C6. 3-fold. We have a draw. Queen to E7. Carlsen has pulled off the unbelievable. Or maybe not so. Maybe, Vladislav was in time pressure, probably. Queen takes, then rook takes. Finally, that pawn is captured. And white is just up a pawn. But we're still with a good position. With an active position. G6, then queen to F8. G6 defending against the check. Queen takes, rook takes. And now they're even because he picks up the D3 pawn. He should. Let me see. Then king here attacking. Then rook A8, king to F6. King up, then pick up the pawn. He picks up the pawn. And this is an even position. So Carlsen pulled off a miracle in round 4. Very good game. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. That was a nail biter. That was really something else. Thanks for watching, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.